Learn from your negative as well as your positive experiences. Here's the next, learn from other people's experiences. That's how you get smarter in a shorter period of time. Somebody that's been through it for 5 years and they wrote a book, and the book, if you read it, could save you 5 years, cost $30. You can't miss that kind of education. Best to get the information before. Yes, we can recover. Yes, we can come back, from the grave, practically. Yes, we can come back from bankruptcy and disaster and poor health. But wow, if we had the information up front that would save us some of those years of disaster, how much better that would be. So learn from other people's experiences, both negative and positive. If a guy's messed up his life for 40 years, you just have to say, John, would you spend a day with me? And I'll bring my notebook and take good notes. Good-looking guy like you, beautiful family, every reason to do well, and you threw it all away. Teach me for a day how you messed it all up. And you just take good notes so that the same thing doesn't happen to you. So learn from your experience, learn from other people's experiences if you learn.
It's blissful because you didn't have to do anything about it. If you didn't know that there was a problem, you couldn't solve it. You couldn't do anything to address the problem. And so, because of that whole thing where the subconscious, which is 90%, approximately of the human consciousness, 90%, the subconscious, it's guiding us in life. It's guiding us toward the familiar. It's guiding us toward the known, even if that familiar and that known is awful, but it's what we've always known. The subconscious continually seeks out what's familiar because it knows how to respond to that. And so if you got into that comfortable numbness of the abuse at a certain point, where we all were at a certain point, it was comfortable. It wasn't happy. It didn't feel awesome, but the fact that it was familiar felt comfortable. So in a way, there was a little bit of ignorance is bliss, because you didn't have to take action. You just went with it and kept doing it, even though it didn't make you happy. So why is it not true? Because telling the truth is love. Knowing the truth sets you free. Knowing the truth is empowering, because when you know what's going on, you can do something about it. So think about that moment when, somebody mentioned the word narcissist, or somebody mentioned psychological abuse, or you were surfing through the internet and somehow something popped up and you saw this article or this video that was explaining exactly what you went through, or huge key pieces of what you went through, and you were like, oh my God, right? And it was 1,000 miles an hour, at the speed of light. Even your thoughts are going through your mind, and everything is starting to take place, and you're like, oh my God, that was that, and that was that, and that was that, and you see the big picture patterns, and it's starting to make sense. Maybe if this is something you went through your entire life, suddenly your whole life is making more sense, and that truth is empowering.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But what if it blows up in your face? What if that inconspicuous tear one day becomes a chasm in a relationship that you really treasure? What if that happens? What if that unnoticeable blemish later became the cause of a career disaster that ends in a scandal? Those things could happen. And so it seems to me that looking at our own deficiencies become quite important, but we are very good at not doing that. In fact, we invent positive words to describe negative things. I look at CVs all the time. We are constantly hiring teachers and consultants and do that. And so I'm looking at CVs almost every week. And when it comes to skills, Excel, Microsoft Office, they will use words like mastery over. That means the guy is good. Sometimes people use proficient at. And something is not quite right when people use proficient at, because maybe they're good at it, but there are some things about the Office, Microsoft Office, that they're not very good at. So they use a positive word, maybe a lower grade positive word, to imply there's some grayish area of deficiency. Well, what's the next level down? I've seen a resume that says, I am knowledgeable about. Well, I know about Microsoft Office, I may not know what to do with it, but I know about it. So we are very good in using positive words to cover up. And what's more interesting is that when we look at CVs, and hopefully after this talk, when you look at your own CV or when you look at other people's CV, you have a different perspective. What is a CV anyway? It's curriculum vitae, course of life. Now, how come everybody's course of life is positive? How come everybody's perfect? I have no understanding of that. I've never seen a CV that goes, well, I am a borderline team player. You know, I don't follow instructions well. I have an erratic mood swing, and I have no control over spending. You never see that. But it seems to me that, you know, we have turned many, many things around. We do everything we can. We even